Hello everyone and welcome along to One Hub Racing Season 26, the final round of the P1 tier. Champion has already been crowned, but we still got plenty of positions to be decided further down the championship. My name is Jess Ball. As we said last week, J. Cole can't make it this evening. So joining me for one final time this season, as he joined me quite a few times this season, we've got Jamie. Jamie, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. How are you guys? Yeah, looking forward to this. Obviously a race where there's not much to play for, but yeah, it should be a good one and decent turnout, and obviously a track where you can get some exciting racing action.
Yes, I think we've seen in any season in One Hub Racing that we've seen quite a few overtakes around Belgium. It's a track that everyone loves. It's always a great season finale. I think everyone in the pre-race interview said that it was going to be a good season finale, so I think we should be in for an absolute classic. But last week was an absolute classic because we saw Craggy do enough to win the driver's title. He picked up his third win of the season, which takes his total up to 212 points. No one could catch him, so that means he is your season 26 champion. And well, with Craggy and Senna starting at the back because it's their decision, I think that means we'll have a different pole sitter. But Craggy's just been consistent all season. The lowest he has finished, Jamie, is third position. It's pretty good going.
Yeah, it's very good. That's the difference there, because obviously Senna did a valiant fight. Senna had some good races, some wins and podiums, but he just had too many bad results. And obviously the thing about winning championship is not about the wins and the podiums, it's about your worst best result, and that's a pretty good worst best result to have, and that's what the difference is in the end. Obviously our point system, it's a bit difficult to realise everyone. It rewards consistency a bit more, and I think that's shown in the championship, winning it around early, which is always impressive to win a championship around early.
Which means you put less pressure on yourself and to deliver, especially if there's any weather changes as well, and maybe there's less pressure on the drives around you to do well. So they're going to have a little bit of a fun starting at the back, of course. Senna, potentially, this is his final race in a while, actually. He's retiring for a little bit, so he's just going to have some fun starting at the back. But there is still a fight for P3 in the driver's standing. So if you think it's all over, nope, it's not. Marco, Entity and Lakitu could still win P3 in the standings. Callum Unarmed does have a slight chance, but it's really down to Marco, Entity and Lakitu. Entity has the best chance of overtaking Marco, his teammate. And of course, we've got Lakitu, who won the Constructors title with Craggy last time out as well. And this is going to be interesting. Winner takes all here. Marco has been looking the most consistent, but he did not score any points in round 6, whereas Entity's form has picked up from the last few rounds, ended up getting driver of the day last week and ended up getting another podium. So in my opinion, my prediction, the one who could steal it from Marco tonight could be Entity, but Marco just can't afford to make any mistakes tonight because he only finished P7 last week.
No, yeah, and obviously if Entity wins this race, then Marco will have to finish in a second place, I believe. So yeah, there's a bit of pressure on there. Obviously, Marco's guy's a lot of poles this season. He's obviously the guy who loves the sprints. He won 2 of the 3 sprint races, and obviously won his first Grand Prix in round 10, but Abu Dhabi. But yeah, last race wasn't the best result for him. It's put a bit of pressure on. If he got like a 4th place last week, it would have made it a lot easier for him. Obviously, 3rd place just come with some good, nice prizes. So you want to keep hold of it, get that trophy, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, that's the key battleground this tonight, as the P1 and P2 already shown up, and as well as the Constructors Championship.
Yeah, obviously Constructors already been decided. The post will go out later on with the P1 stuff as well. And there's plenty of fights to be decided lower down the grid as well. So that could be interesting. But we do have a few drivers missing tonight. Constructors Championship, I'm seeing if there's any close fights in the Constructors. We got Mercedes and Williams quite close together by 1 point. We got Ferrari and Red Bull. They're quite close together as well. But I don't think... actually, wait, he is here tonight. But... I don't think his teammate is. And then we got a fight between McLaren and Haas. And then we also got the fight for the wooden spoon between Kicksauber and Alpine. So we still got a fight for the second in the Constructors. And it's between, of course, Mercedes, who may have not had form as of late, but Williams have really picked it up a little bit. So second in the Constructors, Jamie, could still be decided tonight.
Yeah, that's 1 point, nothing. That's really tight, and obviously there's still some jeopardy with some of these constructor results, because with the team contracts, there's certain results in the drivers and the constructors that drivers do have to match. So there's still some pressure on these drivers to want to race for certain teams next season. So yeah, there's still some jeopardy involved. Yeah, that fight for second constructors could be good. Obviously, there's no prizes for it, but there's prize. You want to finish the highest you possibly can. It doesn't really matter if the prizes are not on the board. If you get second, that's the best result, apart from winning, of course. I think about to get going very shortly, and for this qualification, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, in the race, we've had all our wet weather sessions, so we can't have any wet races from then on, which is a bit of a shame, because it would have been nice to see a bit of a wet Belgium, but I know some people would have not preferred that. But in qualifying, it's going to start off very wet, and then it's going to be going to overcast. Now, what we saw in P2 was very interesting. For those of you that did not see P2, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but the ones who have either done some practice earlier or watched the P2 stream, they're now going to have a rough idea of what's going to happen, but don't forget the weather is set to approximate, so things can change. So I think we could tell the ones who have either watched the stream a few hours ago, or the ones who put in the practice in, because those are the ones that are probably going to get the strategy right. But Belgium is a track where when it rains, it pours, because the Ardennes Forest could be quite interesting. But we are about to get started with 18 minutes worth of qualifying.
Yeah, the Spa Francorchamps on the Ardennes area has its own mini climate, and it's definitely shown here. As obviously being in the forest, in the forest, you do tend to get more rain than in other places. So yeah, this could be good, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people strategize this qualification, because we could see a mixed up grid tonight. I think we will. I think we'll see a mixed up grid, because these sessions always offer up that possibility of a mixed up grid.
Yeah, we saw a mixed up grid in P2, so I'm predicting we are going to get a mixed up grid in P1 as well. I think that it could change how people are in the championship as well, which is what we like to see. As you're not seeing it on your screen as I'm trying to get all my data up, but Callum Unarmed has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So
yeah,
that
his car's stuck.
yeah, his car is
He's
stuck.
got a wheel issue or
Yeah,
got a wheel issue or something, but yeah, it's just stuck there, and you can't move it for whatever reason, and that's kicked him out of session. So he'll start
last.
Yeah, apart from the engine penalty guys who probably will be behind him.
Yes, so that is unfortunate that he has to do that. But I mean, he was saying earlier that he was having wheel problems, so I'm not really that surprised, to be honest, that maybe just a disconnection or to his wheel or something like that. So that just gives him a chance to fix it a little bit heading into the lobby restart, which will happen soon. So that's why he's left to go and sort this out. So Belgium, one of the longest tracks on the F1 calendar, total distance around about 7 kilometers long, and we got a few DRS zones to boot as well. And it is a track where if you like low downforce, this is going to be a track for you. And the race distance 154 kilometers, and this should be interesting indeed. I believe NT will be the first driver to set the lap time, and the track is going to get increasingly drier as the session goes on. So for some drivers, they may not go out on the wet and wait for the inters, but they risk not getting a good lap in. But there might be some drivers that just want to get a feel for the track anyway, as NT is just starting his lap, making his way towards their source now in turn number 1.
It's a very difficult. It's downhill. It's in the wet. It's so difficult. He's looking wheel up there, and the approach areas on, which in the wet is absolutely torrential rain. There's got a few guys out on mediums. Got the 2 Mercedes and Barrett out on inters. So that's interesting. I don't think it's inters yet, but he'll get there. As areas takes it quite nicely. Entity obviously one of our guys fight for third down the Kennel Straight. This is where the majority of our overtaking will take place tonight. DRS so overpowered down this straight, and it's very difficult to keep guard behind. Now approaching the chicane, Fanny chicane, he runs a little bit deep there. It's a bit of a struggle for him. Look how difficult the traction is. Going to approach the downhill section on the approach to sector 2. This is where all the corners are. This is where you're going to struggle on the low downforce settings, as he has a big slide there. You can tell it's a bit of a struggle in that for Entity. The traction isn't there for him as they're going to go down the hill towards the approach to Puron. One of the most impressive corners in Formula 1, I have to say. I love this corner. In the dry, it's flat out, but in the wet, you have to brake and take a big lift. And this is not the best lap. It's a bit of this car's over the show for him, as you know. Going to approach the second half lap now. This high-speed chicane in the wet, in the dry, it's a bit of a tricky one because traction, especially on warm tyres, can be a bit of a difficult one. And now, this corner approach up now, you've got to get this right, because you get this wrong, you're going to lose a bucket load of time down the straight on the approach to Blanchimont, where you can see overtaking the Blanchimont. It's not out of the question. We have to be very brave to pull a move here, as this is where the final DRS detection point is, as we're going to approach the bus stop chicane. Obviously the F1 game has finally got this accurate, because on the past few games it wasn't the most accurate. Now it's finally more accurate, as now so difficult for traction here, but he does it quite nicely there. The exit, which is overtaking there. I think we saw a good overtake there in P2. Crossline now, what's going to be? A 1:57. Not a bad first lap on wets, but I think he can do a bit better than that.
Yeah, I think I've seen 156s in the wet conditions. Ricardo just invalidated his lap time. Casper has set a lap time on the intermediate tyres, and already we're seeing that the Inters is not the best tyre to be on as of yet. But in a few minutes, you never know, it could be. Currently, as we're seeing Barron making his way through Puron now as well. Just a little bit of a side for him, which shows that it may not be the ideal condition for him. And don't forget, due to the lobby restart, there may be some drivers that will be compromising their dry setup with a wet setup. You can change the front wing in during this qualifying session to up it a little bit and then lower it as we get to the end of the qualifying session. So I think that's what most people, some people are going to be doing. Obviously, the most experienced drivers will be doing that, but there may be some drivers that might not be comfortable to do that I think Barry was one of those drivers that was called to the rivalries this week, or I might be wrong, or it might be driver's press conference. It was one of the two that he was called for. And his rival, Jason, is not here tonight, but they're separated by 3 points in the standings, and they were asked how they were feeling going into this. Points would be a miracle, he says, but just want this game to be over so he get excited for F1 25. I don't think you're the only one, Barry. I think quite a lot of people in One Hub feel the same way.
Sounds like me. Sounds like me. So I could have said if I was in the press conference, I think. But yeah, I had a half decent race. But yeah, it's good to see. And Nick's now out on the inters. There's a lot more guys going on the inters. I think in our qualifying, I think it was around 10 minutes, wasn't it? 10 minutes
10
in when
minutes.
the inters tended to be the quickest. I went about a bit early and I did set the fastest lap on because I was the first guy out. But then I saw guys going seconds that quicker now. It's going to be out time. You want to be out there at the right time. You got to really cross the line last lap as close to zero as possible, because if you get the timing wrong, you're going to be nowhere.
Yeah, you are going to be nowhere, and we are going to see some risks. But again, no spoilers, because I do not want to give any of the drivers who have not watched any of the P2 streams or anything else an advantage. As you can see, the Inters is already faster, as Nick had a very good set to 2. He's feeling quite confident around this track, is Nick, of course. And like we were saying with the team contract, he did sign for Ferrari, and if he's invalidated. I just jinxed Nick. He's going to kill me in the management chat later on. But and we also have an owners meeting tomorrow. So yeah, he's going to kill me then as well. But if Nick doesn't do as well in the drivers, he's not going to get a contract with Ferrari this season. He has to have someone signing up for him. Probably Colin, most likely, as is all the drivers actually as well. Unless you're Craggy, of course. Craggy will definitely get his team for next season if he signs up. Same with the Key 2 as well. But if you're lower down the field, then you should be absolutely fine. But with 10 minutes to go, almost everyone has gone for a set of the intermediates. Marco's going out on intermediates. Mike and Ricardo have gone out on full wets, which I don't think it's the right decision, because I don't see any standing water. I don't see standing water at all, just normal wet conditions.
I wonder if they got caught out by a thing where, you leave the pits. In this game, if you leave the pits on in a wet condition, and the game don't think it's the right tyre, but you know it is, it sometimes pops this thing saying, ignore and go to track. One of these guys dinks that option and just got these out by mistake. We'll see the pit straight away, but yeah, they're looking on this track. It's offline, it's full wet, but the racing line's definitely in us now.
Yeah, it is definitely into. I think the most, again, if you've been on this game for quite a long time, you'll be able to tell from the track if it's intermediate conditions or not, depending on the standing water and the intensity of the rain. As we've got, I think, I'm just trying to think who's going to be the first driver to go on Inters. Well, there's one of them. Casper has been on those Inters since the very beginning, and he just set the fastest lap with a 1:55.7. So if you're not out on Inters, Casper is giving you a big clue. Go out on intermediate tyres.
Yeah, definitely. That's one keep an eye out for. As I believe the next guy to do it will be Nick. I think Nick's a lappy. He'll be the next guy to cross the line. Waitsy head is still on full wet, so he's going to finish up on full wet. So we'll see what the difference is. But I do think it's definitely now time for the intermediates. As I don't expect Nick to beat Casper's time, but I do expect him to go into second place. It looks like a solid lap for him so far, as Waitsy cross line goes second. But I believe Nick will beat that lap, and he does go second place.
Wow.
6-8 temps quicker. So yeah, it definitely is time for the inters.
That was a decent lap from Nick, actually. He got the bus stop chicane really nice, and I think the bus stop chicane is pretty much a make or break point for your lap as well. But you can see Marco going even quicker in the middle sector. I don't know by how much, but I think this is going to be interesting for him. Again, he's the one who's P3 at the moment. But we've seen, he did a little bit of a slide in Blanchimont. Do not take Blanchimont flat out just yet. Even though it's intermediate tyres, you've got to take a slight lift, as he didn't take the bus stop as tight as what we saw Nick do earlier on. But it's still a good lap, 1:53.6. So I think it just shows that on the first and second sector, that's where he was quicker. Final sector, maybe not, but the first and second sector, he was rapid.
Yeah, as you say, he's just going to get he's going to go quicker and quicker and quicker. With each lap you do, get more confidence, and the track conditions just get better and better and better. So it's going to be like a fruit machine. This leaderboard. We're going to keep seeing purple laps, green laps, and this order's going to change massively the next 7.5 minutes. Actually, more like 10 minutes, because obviously you can do the lap after the 0 minutes. So yeah, we've got a good 9 minutes of qualifying left, and this is going to be really fun to watch. See how quick the times go as I believe Senna is about to finish lap here. Let's see if he can beat Marco for the pole position. Obviously, he won't start on pole, but if he qualifies first, he'll still count to his stats as the pole position. So it's still to fight for, because we count poles as the guy the quickest lap in qualifying.
Yeah. So I think basically, if you have a grid penalty, make sure you try and qualify as high as you can in order to maximise your results. And Senna.
Okay.
Qualifying in P4, and Nick, P2, decent lap from him. He got a tow from Curry, I think, as well in P13. So as Curry's just had a little bit of a slide getting towards La Source chicane, so that's not going to help him. We're already seeing Sutberry not going out just yet, just waiting for the soft tyres to be put on. So we think that it's going to be softs later on down the line. Craggy Purple set to 1. Lecom, look, it was looking quite tidy, but he's just trying to get the car settled. And Entity, wow, 152.9. Now, I was doing practice with him on Saturday, and he's been looking very, very quick. Same with Ricardo as well. Those two could be one to watch out for. And I don't know. I know Entity and Marco are teammates, but surely they're going to be the ones who are going to be putting differences aside here. It's Lukey, by the way. Good lap from him. Slots himself into P2.
Yeah, Luke has good results, a couple of top 5 recently. Yeah, Craigie got a massive slipstream off Ricardo down the straight. Ricardo did a good lap on the full wets there, just done 55-0. But yeah, Craig got a massive slipstream off Ricardo down the first sector, so that'll give him time. But he had a big slide there. That's going to cost him a bucket load of time, because he's not going to get the best exit through here. But he's still a decent middle sector, but he definitely lost time there.
Yeah, he definitely lost time there, as I think the track is starting to get, on the cusp of being very slippery for some of the drivers, and they may think, oh, should I go full throttle it? And then they do, and then they have a bit more of a slide. And I think some people will be changing their setup a bit to make sure that they don't lose that much time. As Craggy, 151.9, that doesn't seem to affect him too much. We'll see anyone else going up to the line now. We've got Curry up to the line. We've got Lakitu, who is fitting in the middle of his lap as well. I think we've got multiple people doing multiple laps here. Curry slots himself into P5. Who's next? Entity, I think, will go again, but he's 9/10 down, so I wonder if he's going to go for another push lap.
So cool down, I think, there, yeah. But Craig had a bit of a moment come out in the last corner. He got on that curve a little bit, and I believe he's a bit more lap time in his lap there, because he didn't have the best run out the final corner there. So I believe Craig can go even fast that, believe it or not. But yeah, Lakitu, he's on the lap here. It's a good lap for him. Obviously, Lakitu's still got an outside chance of top 3, but I think he was happy to win the Constructors' Championship last year. Let's say he's his first Constructors' Championship, so I think Lakitu was happy to win that. And obviously, he's had another good season, one of the legends of One Hub Racing.
I think, of course, he's one of those ones who doesn't do the first season on the game due to a few real-life commitments. So he doesn't do the first season of the game cycle. We just do the second season of the game cycle. So I don't think we'll see him for season 27, but we will see him for season 28. I mark my words. And yeah, he's one of the legends. And yeah, he used to be quick in his day, but he's still quick now, but not as quick as he wants to. But to be honest, it's all about having fun, and Lakitu likes having fun.
Yeah, I tell you what, he loves the fastest lap. He's got by far the most fastest lap. Ever since he started counting the fast lap points, he's got by far the most fastest laps of any driver. So he does love that cheeky fast lap point. But yeah, a lot of guys coming. We've got a bit of a lull now. A lot of guys coming in the pits. Obviously, they want the least amount of fuel for their final run. So a lot of guys come to the pits now. They're going to come out 1 lap to go. This is do or die, and you wanna time this. You want to come out at exactly the right time. So we're going to see a bit of chicken, I think, when these guys come out the pit lane.
Yeah, I think we are going to see it. And the ones who have not put any practice in, they're not going to know when it's going to be the right time. But you never know. It may not dry up at all. It may just be into the entire time. And if you go on the wrong tyre throughout the entirety of your run, then that's it. That's game over. And that could be your qualifying done. Curry goes up to the line, P5, and I think he's going to go on another push lap. Yeah, good
Yeah,
lap for him, 53.8.
yeah, and obviously we are set to approximate, so it doesn't. So it means that it's not. It's not exactly. You might do practice sessions, or you might watch other tiers. It doesn't mean it's going to be exactly the same. So if a minute difference either way, it's got a huge effect. It's qualifying session, so it's going to be interesting what tires these guys go out on. We'll see. It's going to be. I think if I was these guys, I think at the moment it looks like Inters, but will it dry up the slicks? I don't know.
I don't think so. Like it was. I think I know in our session it was a lot lighter than this. It was a lot lighter than this terrain, and I think it started drying out. I'm just trying to think. 1 minute 30.
Yeah, either been Mike's gone out on a soft. He's got nothing to lose. He hasn't set time, so he might as well go fit. I believe Luke has gone out on softs. Yeah, it's just his outlap though, so he'll be fine. It's just his outlap, so he'll be fine. He can go again. Lukey's on softs. I'm gonna entities on. Lukey's on softs. Nick's the two fries on softs, and we got a difference between the Merc. You got Senna on inters and Casper on softs. You got Waitsy on a difference at Red Bull as well. Got Waitsy on inters and Key on softs, and then Bearers on inters, Likita on inters.
Mixed bag, haven't we?
Yeah, and Jonas still in the garage. He's not going to get out in time, so.
I think I told people in P1, like a few people I know, that if it's going to be the same as P2, go for soft. But unfortunately, it's not the same. Well, it's just the beauty of a proximate. Like, just because you watch P2 and you're doing practice, I agree. So the ones on the intermediate tyres, I'm going to have the best running of it. Curry, by the way, is in P2. He could stay up there. Yeah. I'm going to make a prediction, Jamie, and I think you might agree with me. I'm predicting it's going to be a Williams pole position. I don't know which one. Oh, it stopped raining. It stopped raining.
Yeah.
Has Curry's retired from the session?
Yeah, I think he's binned it. He's binned it right. I don't think he can get around anyway, because he's at no name corner, so he's binned it there. So yeah, so Craigie obviously he's going to start at the back anyway,
quick.
But he's not going to be. I know. There's
quicker than ours here.
DRS enable, so yeah, he's going to be slicks, but you can still get a decent lap out of an inters. You can still get a half beat, but yeah, a slick guy will be on pole, I predict. But
just like P2.
Yeah, the Inters guys could still go for it though, because there'll still be a decent grid position on Inters. I believe you get a top 6 if you're on Inters from looking at this. So it's going to be 2 fights here. We'll have 2 fights. And Ricardo isn't going to make it.
Ricardo isn't going to make it. Neither is Jonas Albrecht, but everyone else is. Who's going to be the last one on slicks to set a lap?
I think Nick or Lukey.
No, Lukey. It's either Luke or is it Kieran? Kieran. I think it's Kieran. Hold on. Yeah, it's Kieran. Kieran for pole. I think my advice is, if there's any type of conditions like this, we saw in Japan as well, if you're the last guy to cross the line, you'll be the last one to get a pole. If that wasn't necessary,
a nice slipstream as well.
You're going to get a nice slipstream. It wasn't the case in P2, but that's because I made mistakes. But in P1, Kieran is looking like the quickest. He's purple set to 1 already.
Yeah, he's looking good. Yeah, it's looking good. One of these 3 are definitely going to set it as Curry's done for the session, so he's going to fall down the order. And obviously, this is going to be interesting. We're going to see the pole change multiple times here. And you don't need validation. You do not want validation at this point, as I believe that is what Ricciardo's got, but he's out.
Casper's invalidated.
So, wow, so he's going to.
That's
so he's going to start at the back, basically. Yeah, he's going to start at the back.
He's going to start at the back. As we've got Senna, P1 at the moment, who's going to cross the line, as I'm guessing one of the Steam people want an invite, which I'll give in a minute. As Marco goes up to the line on inches, what can he do? He goes fastest, but now we're going to see the slick runners go out on some runs. And Mike's invalidated. Oh no, Mike's invalidated his run, as we could see. Oh my goodness, it's very. I don't think any of the slick runners are going to do it, because they're so tight. As Nick goes fast at the moment, then it's Lukey. Lukey got dropped down to 3rd, so I don't know who's got a pole.
Yeah. It might. Yeah, Lukey got in traffic in the final sector. It was either Nick or someone else popped at the end. It was either Nick,
I told you.
Kieran by a second, yeah. So I think Kieran a bit of free air. I think the 2 Ferraris got held up in traffic there, but look at that. Only 3 guys on softs at the end. Of course, a couple guys did invalidate, but yeah, Kieran on pole, and what a great session for Ferrari.
What a good session. And yeah, I was right. The last person who was on Slicks got pole, and that's Kieran. So there we go. So your order then is Kieran, from Nick, from Lukey, from Entity, Marco, Lakitu, Senna and Craggy. Then we got Curry, Ricardo, Casper, Waitsy, Beren, Mike, Jonas, and then Callum. Callum, of course, will be starting at the back along with Senna and Craggy. And I'm just trying to see, we have any other P1 penalties for engines? No, we don't. And there's one thing to mention in terms of engine penalties. Malvin has been a naughty boy because he has not taken a gearbox penalty, which means he will be getting a 20-point deduction going in, well, pretty much through the championship standings. So whoever is teammates with him is not going to be very happy with that. But yeah, so 20 points deduction because he's not taking a gearbox penalty. Just because you missed a race, that doesn't mean you'll get away with it. You got to plan if you miss a race, and you got to plan if you take those engine penalties. So Malvin, unfortunately, 20 place grid penalty. He's the only one of all drivers in the league to not do the car wear correctly. Everyone else has taken both engine and gearbox.
That's good to see, and obviously that dropped McLaren that put McLaren in the fight for the wooden spoon, because that'll drop him to 10 points on the constructors at the moment, because I'm 30 at the moment, so that'll put McLaren in that fight for the wooden spoon with Alpine and Sauber.
Yes, so I think there'll be a lot of wooden spoons tonight. Unfortunately, a lot of wooden spoon fights, which is a bit of a shame, but. He wouldn't want to be on minuses, but you got to give it your all, really, to be honest with you. I was tempted to film the Demolition Derby, but we got quite a lot to say going into this as well. But you did say that it would shake up the grid order, being like this as well. But you got drivers like Nick, who's won a race, Kieran that's won a race as well. You got drivers like Marco and Entity that are a bit lower down. Do you think the lack of practice time has disadvantage to what the ones who are this lower down, because there wasn't many people that practiced with us earlier on?
No, there isn't. No, I think definitely. Obviously, you only get, well, these guys will get 5 hours notice of the weather, so there's not much time to prepare for it. But there is still time. You can still do a couple of quick quality sessions. But yeah, I do think some guys did get caught off guard there. You saw some guys were a bit too long on the full wets, and obviously some guys went on inters. But I tell you, that track did dry really fast. I'm quite surprised by how much that track dried. I didn't notice that as much in our lobby, because I think in our lobby actually stopped.
The lobby with it was a minute and 30, I think, and then it was dry.
I don't know if we get different graphics on the spectator, but that track dried up massively, just because it's still raining for like a minute. On my POV, it was still raining for a minute and a half to go, so I'm amazed how much it dried up.
It got caught. I think a lot of people got caught out by it, but that's the benefit of the adaptive weather system, that things could change at the drop of a hat, and that this could affect the driver rankings as well, because don't forget the winner of Cam's driver rankings win a nice prize, and if you have not had a good qualifying, this could bounce the ones who've had good qualifyings up a little bit, which could be interesting as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this race is going to play out now with a shaken up grid, and this could mean anything for the constructors as well. We do have some goals being set from a lot of our drivers this evening. Lukey saying he wants to stay in the top 8 in at the championship. We have got, I'm just trying to see who else has responded from P1 tier. But he said Senna's done everything he can this season, and he's happy with the end result. So he's all going out for fun, which is fair enough. And Casper, he doesn't have any goals, but he's been very happy with his teammate this season, which to be honest, I think the majority of people have been so applauded of their teammate. Nick is hoping for a clean race. Jonas Olbrit saying that he wants to score top 12 in the Drivers' Championship, which I think for him is still possible. Let me touch on Jonas Olbrit for just one moment. He's had honestly a good season, because he's one of those ones who got returning driver, got moved up from where he usually is to the top tier, and he's delivered a lot better than expected and scoring points in quite a lot of races. So top 12 for Jonas could still be possible, and for him, that is if it was P2, he'll be disappointed with 12th, but because he's in the top tier, I think he'll be pretty happy with 12th, considering the caliber of drivers that we have.
Yeah, think he was going well last week, and then he had an issue, didn't he? He was going
Yeah.
well last week, and then he had an issue. Probably had the best result last week, but then that happened. But yeah, he's done well, and obviously it's good for him next season. Obviously, I don't know how many tiers have next season, but he's definitely had a good ability. Then he's shown he's a very experienced driver, one of the more experienced. Obviously, there's days when I used to race with him. But the days are long gone now. He's left me in the dust. It's good to see though. Good to see his development, and yeah, he's obviously been a past winner around here in the league, past champion. So yeah, he's one of the better. He's one of the most experienced drivers. It showed this season. He's definitely picked up some good results, good pace, and I believe his results are probably should have been better than what his points to had has been. So yeah, good to see.
Yeah, I always like to see underdogs do well, and of course Jonas definitely impressing. I think Jeddah was one of those results where he did brilliantly in the wet conditions, which I have to say was absolutely insane. And of course we're not going to get wet conditions here, but we are going to get some absolutely jam-packed full of matches. It's more than likely going to be safety cars. I think in One Hub, every race we've had in Belgium, there's been a safety car. So if I were you, underfuel the car as well, and maybe try and pray for a safety car. But if there's no safety car, then you're pretty much screwed. So this is going to be interesting indeed. There's not really much to say at this point because we covered a lot of it, and the driver's press conference was going to be O'Sheen, but O'Sheen is not here tonight, so O'Sheen is not going to be racing. But I'm going to have to say this season has been generally across both tiers absolutely amazing. Of course, the P2 tier, we thought that it was going to be a slam dunk for one of our drivers, but it went down to the wire. Shame we didn't have that for P1 tier, but that's what I'm hoping for next season. Next season, I hope for the top tier for the championship to go down to the wire.
It was quite close first half of the season. The second half, it just pulled away. I think second half he just found the second gear, and the other guys dropped it a little bit. So yeah, I think the second half season was big for him to win the championship so comfortably. And I still think he can get a podium even the back of the grid today because this is probably the easiest track to take on. Tyre wear isn't really a factor around here. It's probably one of the easiest track on tyres, so it's a flat out race this, and I think that'll favour him to come through the field. Yeah,
I think out of all the tracks on the calendar, it's one of those tracks where it's just so easy to overtake. It's in like if you don't have the straight line speed, you're absolutely toast. But there may be some drivers that don't like straight line speed and like more downforce. I'm a driver that likes more downforce tracks, high downforce tracks. I think you're one of those drivers as well. So these drivers have got to learn to adapt to these lower downforce tracks if they're not too comfortable with it. But we'll see. We may have drivers tactically using hot lap in certain places as well. It's gonna be interesting. But we just had the call from our tier coordinator that the drivers are now good to ready up. So one final time, we are going to get underway, and I can't call who's going to win this race. Let us know in the chat, everybody. Who do you think is going to win this race? We've got quite a lot of you watching, but let us know who you think is going to win this race. Jamie, who is your top three?
It's just different. I think Marco will win, and I think Craggy will finish second, and we'll go Lukey for third. I think Lukey's been knocking on door of a podium. Past couple of races, a couple of top fives. I think today's the day he's going to get it.
I've got a prediction. I predict one of the Williams is going to win, but not Marco. I think it's going to be Entity. He's been looking quite quick in practice. I think it's going to be Entity. Then I think it's going to be Kieran. Then Marco. That's my prediction. But I don't know. But you can let us know in chat. And I think Entity's going to get P3 in the Drivers' Championship. But even then, Entity's got to score. Marco's got to not be directly behind Entity in order for Entity to get P3 in the championship. But you never know. So a quick reminder of what's at stake then for the drivers that are fighting for P3 in the championship. So of course, Craggy and Senna got P1 and P2, so they're getting a always first premium t-shirt with a first place gold trophy, and Senna gets a cap with a second place silver trophy. And the ones that are fighting for P3 are getting a third place trophy and of course free entry into next season. And the constructors, well, they get free entry to next season. That's already been decided, and that's Aston Martin. Now we move over to our sponsors. We've got Next Level Racing. These are the prizes that have been won in the past, and these are the drivers that could win it. And we are excited to continue our partnership with them. Pure Sim Gear, you can use the code OHR10P to get 10% off all Pure Sim Gear products. We have a discount code with them, which includes any one of our products. And if you want to win a pair of Pure Sim Gear gloves or socks, there's a combined fastest lap or poles award, also known as the Speedster Award. So the driver who gets the most fastest laps and poles will win that. Last year I was able to predict that, but it's hard to predict that this season, and I'm not going to look at that until next week. And our partners, Vespa Team, supporting our championship apparel, including and providing the winner of the driver rankings, as provided by CamK, winning a Pole Sitter Premium T-shirt, as well as the winner of the Go and Get His Tough Award, wins a Race the Dream T-shirt. And if you want to win the Go and Get Stuff Award, you need to attend all races during the season, complete all your media day stuff, and finish outside the top 3. For drivers who are outside of that top 3 at the moment, that gives the drivers a chance to win something if they can't get into the top 3. And finally, to our partners at SimGrid, without them, there'll be just Google Forms and spreadsheets galore, and it'll be an absolute nightmare for sign-ups and standing. So thank you to our partners at SimGrid. We're also going to be using them next season. So those are our sponsors. We're about to go for the race. A quick reminder, Senna and Craggy do have engine and gearbox penalties. They have had it already this season, but because they are secure P1 and P2 in the driver's standings, they want to have a little bit of fun and start towards the back of the grid. And good news, Jamie, Callum has done a bit of time trial, and I think he's fixed his wheel issue, so he's going to be back racing, and he's going to be starting near Craggy and Senna in this race. This should be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good to see. Obviously he's had a few good results. He's had a good season. Well, he's had a few good results, a few podiums, and yeah, maybe it's just see. Obviously, this mix-up grid. I think it'll fill up an exciting race, and you know, we should get going very soon. Obviously, we're not quite sure what the full grid is, because obviously there are energy penalties, but we'll get that when we get the formation app up, and then we'll see what tyres are on. I expect to see majority guys start this race on the soft tyre. We may see a couple guys back starting mediums, but this race should be pretty easy, soft, medium, soft. As Senna has left the session, I wonder if we've got some connection issues with this lobby, because we have been waiting a long time for this formation lap.
I think we've been waiting longer than 2 minutes. I'm just going to check the P1 chat to see if they've been given a call to ready up. Yes, they have. So hopefully Senna could rejoin it soon, as we are about to get underway as I get all my data up. And I think we can see a majority of Senna has joined, thank goodness. Hopefully it doesn't glitch the lobby, because otherwise we're going to have more stuff we have to talk about. So, out of all these drivers, the only one starting on the medium compound of tyres is Casper in 9th place, Senna in 12th, and Jonas in 15th. I did not know that Jonas has got an engine penalty as well. I completely forgot about that. Unless they forgot to place Jonas, I don't know, but we'll go through your order very quickly. So we've got Kieran from Nick, Lukey, Entity, Marco, Lakitu, Curry, Ricardo, Casper. Then we got Barrett. Then we got Mike, Senna, Craggy, Waitsy, Jonas, and Callum. Callum, of course, getting disqualified, so he's starting at the back. But
did Jonas join late? Maybe that's why he's back at the grid.
Maybe, that's probably why. Yeah, he didn't settle out.
Callum obviously left the lobby and came back, so he's out the back because he did a technical issue. But yeah, it helps Craggy and Senna, and the Waitsy, them two at the back, so that's a bit easy work for them. But yeah, I think that's maybe why. No surprise seeing him drive on the soft tyre, and it should go for around. You should see pit stops on lap 5 to lap 6. Maybe some guys may pull the plug on lap 4, but you can leave some a bit vulnerable at the end of the race if you pit that early.
Yeah, I think the earliest start, if I were you, if you pit, is lap 5, because if you pit that, like you said earlier than that, it'll be an absolute nightmare. As a lot of us found out in the race earlier, and a lot of people keep disconnected from the session, so that might trigger a lobby restart. I don't know. I think we've got 3 or 4 drivers disconnected, but it might just be PlayStation doing PlayStation things, or it might just be general internet issues. But hopefully it's not PlayStation issues. I had Steam issues earlier on, but luckily those were fixed, as Jonas has joined the session. So as the drivers are making their way towards pull thread. Kieran has got to nail this restart because starting on pole is not the ideal thing around it. You got to have the pace advantage compared to everybody else in order to have a decent advantage starting from pole. But if you've got drivers around you that are on similar pace, well, it's going to be tough.
And P1, P2, the pole setter got a pretty good start. But the guy in second lost out. So I think on this track, it's an advantage to be on the inside line of turn one. You get a really good start. Not much of a run to turn one, so watch out for guys at the back are more over speed. As we've seen in the past, guys at the back get really good starts, getting 4 or 5 places. Obviously, turn one it can be a pinch point for instance. So watch out for turn one. As we've got an interesting formation here. We've got cars all over the shop in the formation. I've got cars overtaking each other. We've got a spinner. One of the Mercedes has spun around. So not the cleanest formation in the world, but we're about to get going anyway.
We are about to get underway for the final time in One Hub Racing Season 26. Of course, we do have the possibility of the All-Star race, which is happening, but this will be the final league race of Season 26 as Kieran is pointing a very weird angle as he points towards Nick as the 5 red lights are on for one final time this season. Is a go, and Kieran has got a lightning start across the line into turn one. This is very crucial for him. Williams have got a good start as well as they all head towards Le Source, and the Ferraris can't afford to be fighting too much because we've got the Williams breathing down their neck. Kieran already 4 attempts down the line, but you can see Lukey trying to get the run on Nick as they head towards El Rouge. Both the Kick Salbers having a good start as well as they're fighting side by side and nose to tail as well. Casper now up to 7th. We play, contact, huge contact, and we're going to get a first safety car as Curry's out of the session. VSC, I think I saw an issue with, was it, I think one of the Red Bulls, I think it was? I don't know. It was hard to tell, but yeah, that looked an awful crash through a route. I'm surprised there wasn't a safety car there.
No, it's good news for Berra though. He can reach and not lose too much race time. But yeah, I didn't miss that as Berra's got a 10-second penalty for non-yellow flag. So obviously he was an AI car and he must have passed the car. I guess his AI must have passed.
Berra can't join the session.
No, so he's done for then. So it's another car out the race, which is unfortunate. There's yeah, you got to be wary of these VSC restarts because they can prop up quite quickly. So Kieran's got to be wary. You cannot allow Nick to get an advantage here. Obviously, you
can't go too fast either.
No, it's because the Delta just change randomly. It seems at times on this game. So you got to watch out for it as we don't really get a warning when it restarts, do we? It just disappears.
We don't get a warning, but the drivers do. So they get VSC. I think they get the ending message now because I think we can see Kieran and Nick speeding up a little bit, but they can't afford to speed up too much. They really can't. They've got to slow down as they head towards the bus stop chicane, which they do. I thought we were going to get a restart now, but we're not. Yeah, we are.
No, Nick spun it. Nick spun it on the restart.
Nick spun it on the bus stop chicane. He was doing so well, and now he's dropped down to the back of the field, Jamie.
Yeah, that thing just popped at the wrong time. I assume his tyres, I assume he probably just let go of the throttle when he was coming on the corner exit and just spun him around very easy like that. But Luke, he's got a great opportunity to take lead here. He's got a great run on Kieran. Kieran's a bit sideways in the radio, and Lukey should easily take lead here because DRS will be active, I believe. Yes, it will. And Lukey should take lead here. No point Kieran fighting is too much, really. He's just got to just let him through as Berra has retired from the session. That's his ghost car, I believe. That'll be no safety car. That'll just be a green flag. But yeah, Nick, what a shame for Nick. He was in a good position, but he's at the back now and he's just got to fight hard and come back. But up on this now, his tyres will be red hot, so he's got to get his tyres down temperature, so it's going to be a difficult couple of laps for Nick.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of issues for Nick, I think, with the rears being incredibly hotter as well, so he's got to manage those temperatures, but at least he's still within the pack, but he's got to try and close into Jonas Olbrit, who is disconnected.
Yeah, as Ricciardo's pitted for hard tyres on. That's an interesting one. I didn't expect to see the hard tyres.
I wonder if he got damaged from that incident.
Yeah, but the hard tyre's an interesting one though, because I'm pretty sure he's got damage like one. He can do medium pretty easily. So the hard's an interesting one. Casper got a 3-second penalty already after lap 2. That's incredible. Casper is struggling a bit on the mediums for initial warm up, and Callum, you think will have to get this move done pretty quickly because you can see them top 5 pulling away.
Yeah, the top 5 are pulling away right now, and as a lot of us found out in the race just gone, that if you're out of DRS, you're going to lose so much time. So
Lukey's-
these guys have got to get a move on.
Lukey's broke DRS. Lukey's on an amazing lap too. He broke DRS on Kieran, and I think Kieran's struggling a bit. I think he's struggling
What
a
a
bit
lap
on
from
the race
Lukey.
pace, and Lukey's pulled away. Lukey had damage and traffic on his qualifying lap, so he didn't see his full potential qualifying. But we are seeing it in the race, and look at that, 1.5 seconds in a lap. That's incredible. And I think Marco knows he has to go through an entity, because you can just see the Ferrari pulling away, and I think Kieran's holding these guys up.
Yeah, I think, don't forget, Red Bull can have an opportunity to sniff on points as well, and that was an easy pass from Marco. I wonder if Kieran is struggling. I wonder if he's running a higher downforce setup compared to everybody else.
Forgot to load this setup, because sometimes see that sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if he does, because he's dropped down to 5th, Jamie. He's dropped down to 5th. So, yeah, and don't forget, Lukey did remind everybody to load their setups.
And Kieran is a race winner this season. I didn't expect him to drop this much. This is
No.
quite incredible how much he has dropped down the field. And it's not like he's the guy that's fluked the pole position. He has won a race this season. So, yeah, this is quite amazing.
Callum up to 6th, by the way, after starting last.
Yeah, he's having he has a good first few laps there. Got through the traffic, and he's fancying at Kieran here. Brave man off move here. Is he going to go for it? No, he backs out of it. You don't see many overtakes this part of the track. I tell you what, it's been brave man go off move there. But yeah, he's going to have to wait for DRS, I think. But yeah, Marco's now starting to catch Lukey, and Marco, we now try to see the two pace the Williams guys now in free air.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. This could cause a lot of interesting battles between the Williams pairing, because both of them are fighting for P3.
Callum in Blanchimont going for it. Callum's got the move done into Blanchimont up to 5th place. Kieran hasn't really got much to fight for there, and Craggy's up to 7th. So Craggy is stalking the RB now, and he wants to get the move done on Kieran very fast. I
think Kieran's got no setup. I wonder if Kieran's got default setup on, because the amount of time you lose on the straight. I've run default setup around here before. It's an absolute boat. So I think Kieran's going to struggle here if he's running default setup. If someone who's watching, who maybe Jeff and Kieran, that could tell us if he's running a default setup or not accidentally, I don't know. But you can see, I think Lukey is. If I was Lukey, I would try and use a bit of hot lap on the straight in order to make sure Marco does not have a sniff. But Marco knows what he's doing. He has won races before, but he wants to win another one. Of course, he was one of the nominations for Driver of the Day last week. Senna's got a penalty as well, which is not ideal, but of course, the championship, it was crowned last week, so nothing to be lost there. But you can see Marco had a better run than Lukey there through No Name. Marco did absolutely fantastic there to get the run that he needed. So Marco, I think, is going to get Lukey on the next straight. Same with NC and Lukey. Everyone else has just been left for dust.
Yeah, as Mike has a bit of a moment in the Piron, and that allows Senna through at 9th place. And yeah, Senna's making good progress, but that penalty is going to cost him a lot of time. But yeah, I believe Marco will. He's a lot quicker than Lukey. Lukey had that 1.5 second lead too. That's down to half a second. So yeah, these Williams guys and Nikita and Callum is now. He's not far off joining this DRS train now. So these front 5 are. And Craggy, look, we're starting to see the field sort of go back to sort of a normal order now. We're starting to see normality shown here as Senna was overtaking Kieran, and obviously either bring Mike's over the back of Kieran. So yeah, I do think Kieran does, as you said earlier, have no setup. But Marco, now will Marco play a long game here? Will he go for track position, or do you think he'll play a long game here? Not what the pit window's open now, so I think you want to go for the lead now to get the lead for the pit window. I think he'll go for the lead now in this lap to get strategic advantages.
I would put in this lap. Yeah, Waste is already a lap earlier than intended. But if there is a safety car that comes now, or you could just go on either another set of mediums or hard to the end of the race. But here comes Marco. Lukey defends to the left-hand side. Can Marco get the lead? Yes, he does. Very comfortably gets the lead. And I'm sure NC's going to be doing that on the next lap. The key two is not that far behind. And I won't be surprised if Craggy can catch up to this very soon. Here comes NC around the outside in towards Brussels. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he does. So we got a Williams 1-2 here. Marco in P1, NC in P2. Of course, Lukey, not as fast as these two, but Lukey is holding his own by trying to defend them for so long.
Yeah, yeah, he's done a good job there, Lukey. But yeah, as you said, there's no defence for DRS down there, Kemo straight. And then Entity did a great move there with the Brussels. And yeah, Lukey, you've got to just try and stay in this DRS train for as long as possible, and that could drag him along, and that can help in this fight for maybe possible podium position. Maybe that could be on for him. But yeah, these Williams guys look rapid, and problem is, one of them is going to have to stay out. So are these guys fighting now to see who can pit first? Is Entity going to fancy move here into the bus stop and then dive into the pits? That
And they're
could
fine
be
for
a thing
third
to
in the
look out for.
championship as well, Jamie. They're fine for third. They can't afford to work together at this point. They got to fight for themselves. I do believe P2 in the... Actually, no. Mercedes and Williams are fine for P2 in the drivers as well. Marco's in, so... And that's because he was ahead, so he gets priority. Lukey stays out as well. That is something I was not expecting. Yeah, I thought he would have done the undercut.
Yeah, Nick's pitted, but if I was Ferrari, I'd prioritize Lukey there for the strategy. But look, he's going to fancy a repass and Entity here for the lead. These are the only two guys to stay out on the soft tyres, along with Mike and Kieran. But yeah, Lukey's got to fancy taking back the lead here. But these guys is costing you for time. I don't think this is going to work out well for these guys. I think they'll drop down a lot. They'll have fresher tyres at the end of the stint, but they're going to lose a lot of track time because undercut is extremely powerful around this circuit.
I think you gain about a second or two with undercut alone. So yeah, you really wanted to have pitted last lap really, but they probably think that the mediums don't last very long. And Lukey, I was speaking to Lukey earlier, he doesn't... and later on in a medium stint, he doesn't like where it gets so understeery, so maybe he wanted to pit later.
It's got Nick on the inside of Craggy. Craggy's lost a lot of time in the pits window. I wonder if the two...
What have you got
Aston
wrong
Martins,
damage?
Yeah, but the two Aston Martins pitting the same lap, so I think Craggy got caught out in the
he did,
double
didn't he?
there. The
I'm
two Astons
surprised.
pitting the same lap. So yeah, that's putting behind Waitsy. Now Nick, good job for Nick. Good news for Nick. Nick's now got a mate to run with for DRS, so Nick can maybe drag along with Waitsy and Craggy to maybe try to get back in the race. But yeah, look at Luke and Entity. These two are still
They can't fight.
Really
they can't afford to fight. They can't afford to fight at this point. Senna, by the way, is past Casper in into P3 at the moment. They got some penalties. So Lukey, I think if I was Lukey, go into the pit lane. As you can see, Casper trying to fight up the inside of...
Entity stays out.
Entity stays out. Lukey's in. I think Entity's hoping for a safety car, whereas Lukey is hoping for not a safety car, as we see Mike is coming to the pits as well. Kieran's staying out too, which I'm a bit shocked about. So the only ones that stayed out on soft are Entity and Kieran. Everyone else has come in. Senna and Casper obviously have stayed out because they're on mediums, and they're going to do a double soft stint until the end of the race, as
Lukey's on
softs. Lukey's on soft, so he's doing a double soft stint. So Lukey's just come out. He's come out behind Lakitu, and you're right. The undercut.
It's not worked out too bad for him. It's not worked out too bad for him, though.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. I think he's only lost about a second.
Yeah, he's with the lead.
Oh, here comes Lukey.
Leaders.
Oh, a bit of contact towards the calm. Unsettled Marco a little bit there, but Lukey's through. But that was a bit tight there. But as we can see, Marco trying to go around the outside. Lukey covers off very nicely.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a banger there. But Luke has to get his moves done on the soft tyres. He has to get the moves done because these tyres aren't going to last long as the meet. And obviously, Luke, he's going to pit a lot earlier than these guys, so he probably will be leading the race at the end of the final stint, but on mediums, everybody else on the soft tyres. So watch out, guys. This could be an exciting finish, as Entity will surely pit this lap. He cannot go another lap. If he goes another lap,
he's screwed. I can't remember what the pit lane loss is around here, but let me do gap to leader.
It's quite short. It's not as long as it's bound. I think it's around 18 seconds. 18 seconds. So it's quite a short pit lane loss. It's quite a short pit lane, and you do miss out the hairpin on the pit exit. So I think it's quite a short pit loss. As Lukey's got a great run on the key here into the bus stop chicane. He's going to go for it. He's going to wait for DRS.
He's going to wait for DRS, I think. That's very smart, as he's had a little bit of a slide going towards the bus stop chicane. The camera angle is a bit rubbish, actually. So I think he's probably going to go for it in towards our Rouge, so he doesn't lose that much time, which I think is very smart of them, as Lukey's got a very good exit in towards the bus stop, as, Lukey's in the lead. So, Lakitu's in the lead, sorry. Net race leader is Lakitu, so... that is why Entity should have not stayed out. But Entity's also gone for the same strategy as Lukey, which I'm a bit perplexed about, to be honest. But that means Entity does get the undercut later on. You can't go on soft. That's just not allowed by the game. As Lukey does get past the Kitu up into the lead. He's gone now and trying to increase that gap. So then when he goes on to those mediums, he could have a decent gap up front. But everyone else is going to be on softs at the end, though. Will that strategy help him at the end, or will it hinder him? We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I go by the game where you want to be on the best tight end of the race. That's where you make positions. But if you can get a good track position, then it can work. But I think Lukey have to somehow try and break DRS up with Lakita, which is not going to be an easy task at all, because Lakita will stay in DRS here. I think he's going to be in good position. As interesting enough, Casper's come out with another set of mediums. So Casper's doing double medium. So that's I'm not expecting many people to try that. I think. So yeah, Casper's doing a double medium stint. Obviously, Senna's staying out a bit longer. Senna will stay out of another 2 or 3 laps, I believe, if he's doing the double soft. So we'll see what he does. Though Senna's in as well, so only if Senna's doing the same strategy as a teammate, going double mediums. So
or maybe they want to make things harder for themselves and maybe try and talk through the field on mediums. But no, he's going for softs. He's gone for softs, so he's doing double softs. So Casper's doing the opposite to what Senna's doing. As Kieran gets a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, Kieran is struggling big times at the back of the field now, shuffled the back of the pack, and yeah, that I'm pretty sure he hasn't got a set-up on his Lakita. Pulls out the slipstream of Lukey there. Maybe don't get too much dirty air into Rouge Rajon, but if you're 3 attempts behind here, you should be taking the lead. DRS is so powerful on his back straight, and Lukey's got no defence. It doesn't matter where you take your line, it's just a done deal as soon as you come out of Rajon.
Lakita's running lower rings as well.
Yeah, but Entity's now in this pack, so Entity and Callum, so you've got a front 5 now, as you've got Craggy and Nick going Senna, so going side by side, and Senna's through, so Senna's up in 7th place. The 2 championship protagonists, who were the championship protagonists, are now in 7th and 8th, and they're not too far back, but these penalties are going to hurt Senna in the race. It's
going to come back to bite them if we get a late safety car, because I think we only had in RT, only a few drivers getting penalties, and that bit them in the bum, really. They dropped quite a few places because of it. So let's hope for their sake that they don't get a safety car, which means they're able to stretch that gap that they need to still get a decent result. As we're already on lap 9 of 22, the races can go by very, very quickly. Make sure you leave a like on this Twitch, as we've got some moves going on for P6. Senna gets past his teammate.
I'm pretty sure Casper just deferred because he didn't really fight too much. He almost wanted to do each other actually coming that corner, but look at Casper's got a great slipstream. You wonder Casper could try and defend from Craggy here, because obviously Senna, Casper and Craggy on the same tyre. And if Senna, Casper's a big moment there coming out of bus stop, and he's not having the best of most fun times there, and he did well to hold it, and now Senna's through, and now I think Casper back in wingman to his teammate.
Yep, I think that's what Casper potentially is going to be doing. I think if I was a Mercedes, work well together. We'll see if Marco can try and get past Lukey. We'll go on board with them at the moment. Lukey's going to get DRS from the K2. Is he going to go up the right-hand side in towards turn number... Well, I can't remember what corner it is. I think it's turn number 4 in towards the com as Lukey gets the lead of this race. I think it's going to be a bit of DRS switcheroo from our top 5 drivers. But if I was the 2 Williams, I would play it smart here to make sure that you can get past Lukey as well. This is going to get very, very interesting indeed as we're approaching halfway distance.
Yeah, obviously the 2 Williams have got 2 guys this fight. Aston Martin, I've only got the 1. Obviously Nick would have been in this fight, but he had that spin out of a safety car restart, which cost him a lot of time, and he's fought back to 9th place, but he would have been a lot higher out that spin for sure. As say, when these soft guys are pit, you expect these soft guys to pit probably on 2-3 laps earlier, and the guys are mediums, so they will have a bit of an undercut, but they will be on the worst tyre. So yeah, stay tuned. I love these races. You've got guys on different strategies, because it just makes the race a bit more interesting.
I like people on different strategies, because if people on the same strategy, it'll just be boring. That's why in One Hub Racing we love 2 stops. Keep the 2 stops, that'll be lovely. Callum, by the way, trying to go for a move into the bus stop chicane, and he lost a bit on the exit. That was not ideal for him. And could he be brave and see if he could try and go for a move in towards the source? He's not going to. Ricardo, by the way, tries. Yeah, Kieran's got no setup at all. That was easy pickings for the Kick Sauber driver, who is struggling. I thought he was going to do well tonight, but unfortunately he's not doing that well. We've got lap 11 of 22 now, and I think it's going to be a slam dunk. Lakitu is going to get past Marco. Has got to follow Lakitu through, I think, because otherwise he's going to be a sitting duck, as Marco's going to follow Lakitu's line, and Lukey backs out a bit, which is fair enough, because otherwise you're going to lose quite a bit more time. So Lakitu takes the lead from Marco, from Lukey, from Entity, from Callum on Arm. Those are your top 5, and those are the one that's going to be fighting for the win of this race. We don't know if the drivers have got any post-race, well, any penalties to be aware of. No, warnings to be aware of that might be from other drivers a penalty, but we'll have to wait and see. Nick's definitely giving Craggy a run for his money. Imagine what could have been for him if he didn't have that slide on at the end of the first lap, but he's still giving Craggy some good runs, so that could be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good pace, and I believe Jonas, look at the race fast lap. I think Jonas also doesn't have set up, because you got Kieran's fast lap is 147, Jonas from 143, 49. So them 2 guys definitely got no setup. And Kieran gets another penalty. But yeah, as I say, Nick's making good progress, and running with Craggy and Casper is pretty good, because what happened. And if these guys can drag themselves along and maybe try and get back in the fight, the one problem is they've got a big gap to the top 5. So I think these guys are fighting for 6th place. I believe that's probably their maximum, unless you get a safety car, of course. As we've got Entity a bit deeper, we've got Luke in the pits. Oh, that's quite early. That's quite early for mediums. Luke's got a big undercut, but he's going to leave himself vulnerable at the end on quite old medium tyres.
Yeah, that is going to be quite vulnerable. I'm a bit shocked about this, so we'll see what Lukey can do. And, of course, he doesn't have any softs left, so he's going to hope that the undercut is going to help him a little bit. And he thought that he would have lost time with these guys fighting, which is fair enough. Meanwhile, Callum Unarmed does get past Entity. Entity does not have DRS anymore, I don't think. Or it might be those softs are starting to give up the ghost. So that is going to be interesting to see how Entity can climb his way up, with the softs dying about 20%. There's more moves being made in the background. Craggy's got a 3-second penalty, so that might come back to bite him if he's not careful as well.
Oh, it's a big snap as well. A big snap of oversteer coming out of the curb. They hit the curb. These curbs are lethal on the straight. You don't want to be hitting them, and Craig is on a bit of a messy lap. Keeps hitting the curbs, getting unsettled. I believe Casper is putting him under some pressure here. And Nick's in a good position. Actually, on Lukey, it's actually not too early, because you think about it, 6 laps on softs, he pitted and then 5 laps. It's actually not too early. Because it's off strategy, it looks a bit different, but it's actually not too early for him.
Yeah, it is a decent time. It's a decent time. We were questioning him, and we were like, hang on, yes, he's going on mediums. We would have questioned them if they were going on softs too early on lap 12. We would have questioned
12
that.
laps and 12, 13 laps and mediums is about
that'll
right,
be fine. Yeah. I think I did... I'm trying to remember. I think I did 11 laps on mediums earlier on. Yeah, I did. No, I did 10. I did 10 laps on mediums. Actually, no, we had a safety car, didn't we? Never mind.
Yeah.
But it was a practice session where I did 10, 11 laps on mediums. So much has gone on today. It's unbelievable. But I would expect Lakitu and Marco to go into the pit lane, I think, at the end of lap 15 to get a best possible chance to close in on Lukey as much as they can, because if they go in a lot later, they're just going to lose so much time to the undercut, but their softs are going to be so much quicker towards the end of the race. So those two have got to work together a little bit. I'm a bit disappointed about Entity's pace at the moment. He's not enjoying those softs at all. Maybe him going on mediums would have been better for him. He's now lost touching distance to our front two.
Oh, yeah, I think he should pick this lap, because he started to lose a bit of rear traction there. Just on the bottom of him, he's had a bit of a moment. And Callum, it's starting to pull in now. Callum's dropped off a bit. The front two is like the puller. It's actually a bit more pace, starting to break away a bit. And it's interesting to see how these guys are split up a little bit. As Senna is in a solid 5th place from the back of the grid. And yeah, I believe these soft guys should be in this on next lap. But you want to be in this lap though, because you want to maximise your last stint. You want to give yourself the best race time, and I believe pitting this lap will give you the best race time on the soft tyres.
Yeah, I think I think the earliest we saw in P2 was about lap 30. In the practice session was about lap 13, 14. So, yeah, it is doable. So maybe pitting now would probably be a best option, as Lukey did get past Mike a moment ago, and he's not that far off Waity either. And we know with Waity, he won't fight Lukey that much if they're on different strategies anyway. Entity's in, which is understandable. He's got to. He's on a similar strategy to Lukey. Senna's in as well. So those well, of course, Senna will be going on softs, unless he's going to go on to mediums. Senna's going to mediums. Interesting. I thought he would have gone on softs.
No, maybe the two Mercs maybe fancy double two medium stints, because obviously Casper cleans a medium. Maybe the team Merc guys go with a different strategy here, as Ricciardo has overtaken Kieran leveled hards, which is an interesting one. As that's interesting from the Merc. I just don't see that as the quicker strategy. I just think with the lack of tyre wear on there, I think double softs quicker. But maybe the Merc guys do not like the soft tyre. Maybe they feel like medium gives them a better pace. But yeah,
I think we saw that with Nick earlier in practice, where he did not like the softs and liked the mediums. So
yeah, Nick's come out on fresh mediums as well. So yeah,
but he's gone for double mediums too.
Yeah, which makes sense. Pitting a bit early if going double mediums gives a bit of an undercut, which just makes sense. And if you're soft, you go another lap, I believe. So yeah,
you'll get screwed in the safety car if there's a safety car, because loads more people would go. I'm surprised that less people have gone for softs. I thought more people would have gone for soft tyres. Pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers have gone for mediums.
Yeah, I believe that was if you want to go on mediums, I believe that was the lap you needed to pit. I believe now if you go from this lap on, you committed to softs to the end, because it doesn't make sense to go on mediums. You've gone past lap 14 in my view. So yeah, these guys, because I was intending to pit lap 14 for softs in my race. So yeah, these guys will definitely be going softs now.
Wait, see 3 seconds.
3 second penalty. He's had a decent comeback, a couple of top 10 finishes on his return onto one racing, but yeah, that's not going to help him at all. Lukey can get a massive undercut on these guys, but as we say, he's going to have pretty much dead tyres at the end of the race.
If he gets a safety car, he's screwed. But if he does not get a safety car, then he's got a brilliant chance, as we just seen someone go into the pit lane. That was either been Mike. It's going on softs. He's going to be the earliest person to go on to accept the soft tyres, and if he goes on mediums, then how could he, because he commentated on P2, so he should know the strategy. And he sees sense, and Mike, yeah, Mike should have gone for softs.
Maybe these guys, maybe it's just personal preference, you know. Maybe these guys. I mean, I'll admit I wasn't the biggest fan of soft tyre, but I just felt like I had to run them because it was the quicker tyre. But yeah, I did actually prefer the medium tyre, but I didn't feel like they were quick enough for 2 stints. But these guys definitely do feel like that.
I think it's just personal preference.
It comes down to personal preference in the end. You don't follow the crowd. You have to do what's best for you. As Waits has done 10 laps in the medium, so he's going to be feeling very second at the moment. But it's quite a good long stint for him here, as Nikita and Marco are still very close, and Callum does not have the pace at these front two. Now he's lost the DRS.
It's right, yeah, front 3, soft, I think front 4, soft tyre. Casper, go on soft tyres as well. He's got to, because he started on these 2 medium stints. And Casper will want to try and go for fastest lap, as we've seen more time penalties left, right and centre, more than our tier. I think we only had a few drivers in our tier that got penalties. As Akitu's had a bit of a moment, his medium tyres are giving up the ghost. Marco's staying out as well. Callum, though, going for the undercut.
Yeah, Casper overtook Craggy going to Blanchmont and Darius straight into the pits.
And I thought Craggy was going to come in too, but Craggy does not follow them in. This is what I like about one up racing.
Maybe these guys fancy an offset. Now, the offset, I think, works more in real life than the game, because on the game, the undercut is overpowered more so than real life. So, yeah, the offset can work.
The undercut's powerful in real life.
Yeah, I know, but on the real life, offset is a lot more viable strategy than the game, I think. But these guys fancying something different. Who can blame? Last game of the season, last race of the season, just why not try something different? Why not?
And for some people, last race on F124.
Yeah, as Lukey's got a 4-second lead on Entity. So that's quite a big lead.
Now, that is a big undercut. But to be fair, Entity got held up by Waity. as he was trying to get past
Waitsy
him.
did a job for. They're not teammates technically,
But
but they are close friends.
If you do slow down
But
intentionally, and you're not, and you're helping, you're helping your. Like you're not helping your teammate, you're screwed. But it didn't look like Waitsy was slowing down
fighting for
intentionally.
position. It's a battle for position, and it doesn't matter if you have strategy. You don't have to let a guy through. You can fight them.
You can fight them. It's like with a championship. As Entity, he's already
gaining a
quite
lot
a bit.
of time. He's gained 8 tenths in this lap, so yeah, Entity is on one here.
I'm calling it.
They won't be too long. Two's on the back of Lukey.
I'm calling it Entity for the win. I think Entity's going to get the race win.
Yeah, it could be one as Marco and the key to win. Surely these guys go on soft tyres. You've gone this long, you are going softs. I mean, surely they're going soft.
So yeah, soft tyres for Craggy
well.
and soft tyres for Marco. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see whether it's going to be close, actually. Closer than I thought it's going to be. So we'll see what's going to happen. So there comes Entity in towards that. That is going to be their battle, is head through Entity. And Entity is miles ahead of... actually, no, Marco's just got ahead of them.
That's worked out well for Marco and Lakira, I think.
That's
on the
because
better
they
tyre,
won softs, yeah.
Yeah, Entity will pass Mark Rio to DRS, but that's worked out well for them too, I think. That's where they'll be happy to be that close to the lead. 3 seconds on the better tyre, they'll be delighted with that result. And once to get these up to temperature, they'll be flying.
They'll be absolutely flying, but they can't afford to fight too much because they'll lose time on Lukey. So the ones on the softs, they got to get past ASAP. They can't afford to be fighting too much because that's where the pace drops, and they're going to be on the quicker tyre. And we know that Entity is getting a move on anyway. And you can see Entity falling away even from the soft runners, and that's because Entity has got the clear air. He's not fighting anyone at the moment. His main focus is Lukey, and Marco could use Entity as a buffer to try and close in anyway. So that's what the Williams drivers need to do. I think Lukey would be happy with a podium anyway, so he's going to do his best to try and do anything about it. Marco and Lakita, they're just fighting too much. Entity's doing what he should be doing, trying to pull away, using his battery effectively, and that's what's helping him a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely is. And there's again another second on Lukey this lap, so in 2 laps time you're on DRS, and there'll be a 5-4-way DRS fight for the win. There's you see Casper and Nick getting very close together, fighting for best. The rest, Callum, a rapid fast lap of 1:43. Callum feels a lot more at home on the softs compared to the medium tyre, so he definitely prefers the red tyre to the yellow tyre. As you say, these Williams guys have got to work together because they are gaining at catching Lukey, but if you fight like this, you're not going to catch as much as you would, and you're going to give yourself a bit of a tyres won't be as nice as they would have been as Marco gets through. Lakito. Yeah, not much Entity could do there.
I think I'm a bit worried about Entity now. Entity's going to drop quite a bit to Callum Unarmed, so Callum Unarmed on the softs as well. Casper gets past Nick up into 8th place. And by the way, this could be Craggy's worst result of the season. By the way, this could be his first, his only race where he's finished outside the top 3, which is not ideal. But to be fair, it's his last race of the season. All he cares is just about having a bit of fun. And that's what he's doing at the moment. And Marco's within DRS now of Lukey, so I don't think Lukey has a leg to stand on. I think Lukey's running out of airs. I can see with the red flashing lights. So I think Marco and Lakito have got a brilliant shot of taking this win here. Maybe Callum as well.
Yeah, Lukey had to try something different though, because they already get the pace on the Williams guys. So he had to try something a bit different. I don't blame him for trying this, but yeah. But he's got trying to stay with these guys. That's going to be his task. Trying to stay with these guys. As he has, I believe.
I think that was Kieran.
Yeah, it's one of the 2 guys at the back, I think. Yeah, they're the default setups. But yeah, now Lukey's going to be sitting duck here now. He's got 4 laps to go. How can he manage this for 4 laps in the medium tyres? Because Lakito does the fastest lap, and I believe it's between Marco and Lakito for the race win. I think they're the 2 quickest guys in this race. So how long will it take them to clear Lukey? They both should pass him here. Lakito has to clear Lukey. He has to follow his Williams guy through, and they're going to go side by side. They're going to go 3 wide.
Oh, Oh, I
And,
want to go 3-1
and
if I were
Lakitu's for the
you.
lead.
This is for the
Lakitu
lead.
takes the lead there. Yeah, Lakitu gets the run on them. A bit like Hacken and Schumacher and all them years ago. And Lakitu's in the lead now. And
That was
Lukey now has
great.
got to try and stay with these guys. But it's going to be difficult. You've got 7-lap-old mediums compared to 2-lap-old softs. And I believe the two of the two ahead are quicker drivers anyway on this track. So Lukey's struggling. There's a big slide there. Wow. Big slide there. And Callum is going to go for it into P1. Yep. Callum has got the move done into third place. Yeah, Lukey is struggling now on them tyres. They're starting to feel a bit second hand.
Yeah, I think he even said to me at this point in a stint, that's where he struggles. That's where he tends to find a bit of understeer. So that's probably why at this point that he's struggling a little bit. So he held on to the lead for this long, but to be fair, he's still doing a decent job where he is. But maybe him being on the soft in the second stint was probably the best decision. It's just him struggling on those mediums for this point, but he's going to get a decent result anyway. He's going to get top 5 because everyone else around him is low down anyway.
Yeah.
Nick's going to get a good comeback as he's passed Casper up into P6 in Blanchimont. So Nick was able to use quite a bit of ERS in order to get past Casper, as we don't have long to go until the end of this race. Lap 2022. I don't think we're going to get a safety car. We've only had one VSC and that's it.
No, yeah, as you say, as I mentioned earlier, off stream, if you don't get safety cars, it's a very fast race. It's sub 40 minutes, and you're about to see it's been very clean racing down the field. Not many DNFs. Even the 2 DNFs were in the pit lane, so no safety cars. And Marco takes lead now. These two will swap positions and lead. And I don't think Carlo will be able to hang on, but he should be able to hang on for the podium. But Entity past Lukey for 5th, and I move Lukey now. It's going to be locked into 5th place, which would be a good result for him. Ran at the front, but didn't have the pace and the tyre weight of the guys ahead. But still not a bad result for him. As all Nick has to do really is stick with these guys. He doesn't have to overtake them. He just has to stick with these guys, and he should get 6th. So 5th and 6th for the Ferrari boys. I think they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari boys will definitely be happy with that, with 5th and 8th. But what could have been for them? And imagine if there was a safety car, and most of these drivers outside the top 6 would have got no penalties anyway. So this would have been good for Nick. So Nick will get 6th as he's trying to get past Senna, but to no avail. Oh, that was tight in towards Stabilo 1 as in now towards Stabilo 2. As Nick is looking quite a bit quicker on those mediums for now. As
Nick's damaged his wing. He's got a bit of wing damage. He knocked his wing off there. I believe he tapped his wing, and he's got a bit of end plate damage there. So I don't know if that'll affect him really, because you're in low wings order anyway. I don't think it'll affect him much in other tracks. He might give a bit more straight line speed, ironically enough. Is he gonna go for it? Nick's really got some good pace, but he just cannot get by the Merc. To go around the outside, going to go to bus up here around the outside, gets the move done with a broken wing on the guy second in the championship. That's quite impressive stuff.
That is impressive.
As it's allowed Casper to pull away a bit though. I don't know. Casper may be able to pull the gap on Nick here. On the soft tyres with Nick a bit of wing damage, so Casper may get 6th place here. It's very tight, I think.
It's going to be very tight for 6th. As we go to the lead battle, we got pretty much now a 4-way fight for the win, because I don't think Lukey's going to close it in because he's struggling on those mediums. So we've got Marco versus Nikita versus Callum, and Entity's got to try and get a move on in order to be in this fight as well as we head to the later stages of this race. I have to say, Callum is pretty much the driver that's impressed me so far with the way that he's climbed up, because he's had some technical issues throughout today. He's hardly had enough time to do some practice, and he's benefited from doing some time trials to make sure that his wheel was good knit. And to be fair, Callum has done pretty tasty because of that as well. So Callum is doing all he can to spoil the party for Nikita and Marco, and Entity's in this as well. And as it stands, Marco will get P3 in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, Marco with a big twitch there in the chicane. He had a massive twitch there. Managed to hang on though. Nikita's got to run here, but do you want to get the move done here? Do you want to pass here, or do you want to wait for the massive near straight down Kemmel? If I was him, I'd wait for Kemmel straight. I don't think he'd go over the move here. He's got 94% battery. Marco's only got 51, so Nikita's got a massive battery advantage. Nikita's got 100% battery, so he can do overtake for the whole lap almost. Nikita's got a massive battery advantage, so you have to say I fancy Nikita for the win here. I think he's the favourite as going to the final lap.
Yep, we're going to have to wait and see. We're on 1 lap to go of the PT1 tier Belgian Grand Prix in the final race of season 26 on F124. Of course, we've got the All-Star race, which I have no idea when that is. I think it's on the... believe it or not, it's in the Indy 500 weekend on the Saturday, because we can't do it on the Sunday because it's Indy 500. Meanwhile, Lakitu takes the lead from Marco into Lecom. This could be crucial. Craggy's at the fastest lap of this race so far. They're heading past into Brussels for one final time. I think we could see some brave moves from either Marco or Callum as we head towards the latter stages through the race. Now heading towards a very understeery part of the lap, heading towards No Name. I still like to call it No Name. I know it may not be called that anymore, but I don't care. We've got a yellow flag in the background. I believe that was Craggy that's just had a bit of a moment. His race has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Senna's got past Nick. Oh, they make a bit of contact as they've been forced into the gravel. They make contact again. And Senna's almost hit the wall. I'm surprised he wasn't out of the race there. But let's draw our attention again to the race win battle. Lakitu is probably dumping every bit of battery that he's got right now on Marco. And Marco's going to try and dump a bit of battery as well. He's got to fight with his life right now. Could we see a last-minute battle for the win? It's got to be brave in towards the bus stop chicane, but I don't think Marco has got it in him. Oh, that's a bit of a tap there. Lakitu has not won a feature race yet. He's won a sprint, but he takes his first feature race of the season by 1/10 of a second to Marco. Marco takes second and also P3 in the Drivers' Championship, so congratulations to him. Callum in third, Entity fourth, Lukey in fifth. Don't know what you'll think of that, but if I was him, I'll be happy with that. Casper in across the line in sixth, Nick seventh. I'm almost certain there'll be a Shears inquiry between Senna and Nick there. I can almost say about that. Waity will come across the line in ninth. And Abe actually, Mike in ninth. He got no penalties. He'll be his best result of the season, I think, Mike, and P9. Senna in 10th. Jonas will be in P11 and Ricardo. Actually, I don't know because of the penalties. Let me check penalties. So it will be Jonas, then Craggy, then Ricardo. Because, of course, Ricardo's got more penalties. So Craggy goes up to the... Oh, Craggy's doing donuts. So, of course, Craggy, being the champion, gets to do donuts. And, of course, him being in the back, last race of the season. Why not?
Yep. Yeah, well, the champion, obviously, going to get a fast lap point. Obviously, not going to get a point to finish technically, but a fast lap point. And Lakitu, I believe, gets a slam dunk. So he gets a fast lap inside the top 10. So he gets 21 points. And he's actually his 10th race winning one of racing. It's going to be his 25th podium and his 19th fastest lap. So it's going to put him on 926 career points. So not a bad landmark too. So he's definitely ended the season strong. Not coming up for third in the championship, but it's been a strong end of the season for him, and he's been a great teammate to Craggy as they secured a quite comfortable championship. And Williams will get second place in the constructors with that result. And obviously Marco will hang on to third in the third in drivers' championship. So Marco will get top 3 in the drivers, as I believe Lakitu will be 5th, so Entity will hang on to 4th in the drivers, but yeah.
And there's Kieran doing donuts as well.
Yeah, Kieran obviously, it's fair play to him sticking in the race with a default setup. It was so easy to quit out and not complete the race, but he did, and say quite a good race. No safety cars, very obviously a bit messy there between Nick and Senna, but I enjoyed that race. Good fun and a deserved winner, I think.
Yeah. I think it was a very good fight for the race win between Lakitu and Marco at the end. I think the move that Lakitu made on Lecom was definitely worth it, I think. And Kieran's got 20 seconds, but I'm loving I think he's going to keep going until the timer runs out. So fair play and farewell to
31.
season 26.
Yeah, definitely great fun. And we'll see you. Yeah, great end to season. Obviously a bit of a race where the championship was done, but these guys didn't really care. They give us a great race. It was a 39-minute and 31-second race there for Lakitu, so he did get under 40-minute race. A quick race, but an enjoyable one.
Yeah, Callum getting the driver of the day in game, but of course we will tell you our driver of the day nominations for one final time, and we got a few thank yous to make as well. Honestly, for Lakiti, it was a long time coming. He wanted that race win for quite a while in the feature race, and his strategy just worked out perfectly. He had the right amount of fuel as well. It was absolutely amazing for Lakiti, so he will have his head held high at this one. So we'll go through your race results as we've got Lakiti winning from Marco, from Callum, from Entity, from Lukey, from Casper, from Nick, from Waitsy, from Ivan Mike, from Senna. And we've got Jonathan Craggy, your final point scorers. Craggy getting the fastest lap as well. Kieran in 13th, Ricardo 14th, and Barrett and Curry, your retirement. Of course, the incident that happened lap 1 only caused a virtual safety car and not a full-course safety car, which a lot of drivers were a lot happier about. But without further ado, for one final time, let's go through our driver of the day nomination, starting with you, Jamie, as our guest. Who would you like to go for, and what is your question?
I'm going to go for... Yeah, I'm going to go for... I'll have to go with the race winner, because I think Lakito managed his battery very well there at the end. Yeah, obviously he had good race pace through the race. I'm gonna tell him, well done, mate. Good drive. And how easy was it to manage your battery? So you had a full churning battery for that last lap. I think that made the difference between you and the race win. And how difficult was it on the last 2 seconds that lap to hang on, to get a nice gap so you couldn't do a dive into the bus stop chicane?
That is a good question. I have to say, I'm going to have to give the driver of the day nomination to Callum, because he started at the back. We didn't think he was going to make it through to do the race in general, and he still managed to get a podium out of all of that. He could have challenged for the win, but I don't think he was fighting for that too much. But still, a podium would be incredible. So my question to Callum is, congratulations on a good recovery drive. Did you ever think you would get a podium after starting at the back of the grid? So that is my question there. So that is season 26 done, and that is all our champions and, well, drivers and constructors champions crowned in both tiers. Of course, we still got plenty of awards to be decided next week for our end of review stream, but apart from that, that is it then. It's been a great season, hasn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, it's definitely been an enjoyable season. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, not the best on track, but enjoyed these commentaries, and yeah, I think we'll have a well-deserved break now, and we'll see you in a couple of months for when the next season's underway, a new game, and hopefully new game is an improvement on this game, and we can hopefully go up to 3 tiers. I think that's going to be our aim for next season. So if you're interested, do join the Discord, and you'll find out news on events, and obviously the events we do on the new game, and when the sign-ups will open for season 27. So check that out, and enjoy the off-season, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of months' time.
Yeah, we will see you in a couple of months' time. I'll do some proper thank yous when we do the review stream next week, but I'd like to say thank you to all the P1 drivers for putting on a great show every week. Of course, thank you to our hosts as well, Lukey and Nick. Of course, thank you to J. Cole for joining me in the commentary box for the majority of the season, as well as Jamie for stepping in if J. Cole couldn't make it. Thank you to you all for watching at home. You've all been absolutely fantastic, because without you, there wouldn't be a stream. And of course, thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we have Next Level Racing, Pure Sim Gear, Vespertine, and of course, SimGrid. Without them, it wouldn't be a league. Of course, we wouldn't do it without them. So, but we'll do proper thank yous next week anyway. And thank you to all the commentators who have commentated throughout the season. So, probably a lot of the drivers now are going to be uninstalling F1 24. Jamie being one of them. But
It's already installed.
yeah, I still got a few more races, so I have to keep my game installed, unfortunately. And there's also the All-Star race as well. But until now, we will see you next week sometime for the end of review stream, where you get to find out the remaining winners for our rankings, Go and Get Stuff Award, and the Speedster Awards for the combined poles and fastest lap. And we might give some Next Level Racing prizes to be confirmed for our top 3. So there we go. But thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Well, see you next week for the end of review. But we now end by congratulating our drivers champion, Craggy, and our constructors champions, Aston Martin. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.